Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wadcast Podcast. I'm your host, Eddie Ift. Each and every week we bring you probably the finest podcast in the world that is done by a comedian about CrossFit. There's a couple of weird things there. It's not always about CrossFit. It's kind of about health, fitness, strength, conditioning, nutrition, all things. Sometimes it just gets entertaining. So if you're listening for the first time, this is a very interesting episode. Our guest this week, I was up in Lake Tahoe in the Reno area doing shows, and our guest was my guest. I don't know why I say our or we. It's basically me. My guest was a guy by the name of Coach T Mudhoney. That's his, well, Kyle Railton is his real name, but Coach T Mudhoney is he's an extraordinary man. He's a CrossFit coach. He is a DJ. He is the warm-up act for the Tough Mudder. He is a former motocross racer, skier. The guy just does everything. He gets it. He gets CrossFit, why you do it. It was an awesome interview. He's a really energetic, fun, exciting guy, and I had the pleasure of talking to him for a while, and that's what I like about the show. I like meeting interesting people that do cool shit and lead a really vibrant life, and that's what he was. So I hope you enjoy this episode. Before we get to that, though, I want to let you know that this show is brought to you by Manscaped. That's right. Manscaped is the number one men's below-the-belt grooming. How about that? Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. I got them. I'll tell you all about them later in the episode. Unbelievable. If you want to support the show, best way is to go on. This is the cheapest way. You don't have to spend $1. You just go on to iTunes and you rate, review, and you comment. I love the comments. I read them a lot. I think I read a bunch last week, so I'll save you this week. But thank you guys for all your rate, review, comments. Get us up over the 1,000 mark. It helps us in the algorithm that gets people to see the show because we go higher in the rankings because iTunes is weird. And that doesn't cost you anything. If you want to spend money, go to eddief.com or wadcastpodcast.com. I'm sorry, wadcastpodcast.com, and get involved in our Patreon. You give $5 a month. If you give $5, you can give $1, you can give $2, but if you give $5, we put you in a drawing to win a Myopux and a Leopard Claw. Myopux is a electronic muscle stimulator that evacuates all the waste out of your body. So after hard workouts or any kind of injury, you attach yourself to this thing. It pumps your muscles, gets blood flowing to the area without injuring any of the soft tissue or ligaments, joints, whatever. And then it flushes all the waste out to your lymphatic system. And the other thing that we give you is a Leopard Claw, which is like a big metal dildo. And you know what to do with it. No, it's a metal, like gua shui. It's a scraper. You scrape any gooky areas in your butt. Gooky, you know that word, gooky. I don't even know if that's a word, but it sounds good. You scrape the gook with the tool, and it breaks up all the adhesions, lets the blood flow to that area. It's best to do that first, then do the electronic muscle stimulator second. This stuff's worth about $450. What am I going to give it to you for? $5 a month. That's right. Just donate to the Patreon, $5 a month, and you could be in the drawing. You can get it. This week's winner, Mike O'Malley. There used to be a TV show, The Mike O'Malley Show. Is this him? Anyways, Mike, if it's you, send us an email at wadcastpodcast@yahoo.com, and we'll get those right out to you. Yes, we will. Also, guys, check out our Instagram. Our numbers are so shitty on Instagram. The show's numbers keep going up and up and up and up. Why is the Instagram not going up? Can you please? I'm actually doing it. I'm posting good, funny shit. Get on there. Add us on Instagram at Wadcast Podcast. And you want to help out with something really important. You want to donate some good money. Go to eddief.com or wadcastpodcast.com. There is a link to the 68-mile Wadcast Ultra. whole bunch of us, I talk about it constantly, are going from Pacific Palisades to Point Mugu, 68 miles over the Backbone Mountain. It's going to be horrendous. It's 14,000 feet of elevation, and it hurts like fuck. I train on it all the time, and it's going to be terrible. And hopefully we can do it in like 17 hours or something. I don't know. But Tommy Hackenbrook's coming. Hunter McIntyre's coming. Dustin Fierro's coming. A lot of guys who have been guests on this show are coming with us. So it's going to beat the shit out of me. I don't know about those guys. But, yeah, get involved. I don't know if any Wadcast podcast hats are left. I think they all sold out. Maybe I'll order a whole bunch more. Send me pictures of you guys in them. Some people have already. And donate. It's a good charity. So donate. And it's for the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation. Those are the firefighters who die in action. Their kids end up, imagine growing up without a dad or mom because they died risking their life for other people. And, you know, college is going to be tough for you. School is going to be tough. Putting food on the table is tough. So what this does, it takes care of the families after that. So we've all got pretty good lives. I know I do. And that's why I'm doing this, because I want to give a little bit back, and hopefully you can too. So go to that link. Every little dollar counts. And we'd love to see it because it also puts pressure on us that then we've got to really run this thing, and we have to finish because we know there's all the money on it. I think we're up to about $1,000, and I haven't hit up my crazy rich friends yet. At first I was like, we should raise like $3,000. I think we should raise at least $10,000. Don't you think? So guys, please start coughing it up. Also, you want to see me live? I do stand-up comedy. That's what I do. That's my thing. I've been doing it for 25 years. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm pretty good. Pretty good. I'm in Salt Lake City this weekend, the 18th, 19th, just 2 nights. Salt Lake City at Wise Guys at Jordan Landing. So come see me. Probably doing 4 shows, 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday. Should be fun. Tickets are at eddieif.com. And then, I'm at the Laugh Beat. I don't want you to come to that show. Sometimes I do shows that are just, I'm popping in, I'm doing 20 minutes, and I do them for practice, but I don't want to promote myself because I don't want the people that like me coming to those shows when I need you to come to the important shows. Like November 2nd, I am at the Ice House in Pasadena. The Ice House in Pasadena. I'm recording for a special pitch. Basically, we all do specials for Amazon or Netflix or Hulu or whoever we do, Comedy Central, and you got to show them what you're going to do. So this is I'm filming this for the pitch, so I need fans there. I have said it a number of times, and not many people have taken me up on it, which I find awkward and weird and makes me feel bad about myself. But if you would like some tickets, let me know. I will hook you up. Send me a message at, again, wadcastpodcast@yahoo.com, and I will take care of you because I would like to have fans at the show. That is November 2nd. November 8th and 9th, I will be in Calgary at the Yuck Yucks in Calgary. And then I go on the 26th through the 1st. I'll be in what's it called? Naples, Florida, Off the Hook Comedy Club. Then the 5th through 8th of December, I will be in Harvey's in Portland. The 13th, 14th, I'll be at Chilkoot Charlie's in Anchorage, Alaska. The 17th, I will be at Lake Norman at the Comedy Zone. And then I'm kind of off till January. And then I have a whole bunch of places in January. So come out and see me in Sunnyvale, in Tahoe, in Vegas, in Worcester, Massachusetts, in Vancouver, then I go to Australia. So all my dates are at eddieif.com. That's eddieif.com. I don't know how long this has been. Too long. I try to keep it under 10 minutes. It's just at about 10 right now. So I think it's time we start the show with Coach T Mudhoney. How about that? Are you ready? I don't know if you are. You think you might be, but you might not be. Well, here we go. Get ready, get set, and go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wadcast Podcast. I'm your host, Eddie Ift. Welcome to the show. We've got this is awesome. I'm sitting here in the Silver Legacy Hotel in Reno, Nevada, where I recorded Sean Sweeney last year. Sean just got married, just bought a house. I was talking about going out to his area to record with him. And then Hunter McIntyre hit me up with a very, very lucky I hit on this one. Hunter's like, what are you doing? You're in Reno. You got to get Coach T Mudhoney. And I was like, who the fuck is that? He goes, you don't know Coach T Mudhoney? And I was like, I don't know Coach T Mudhoney. So I did my research. I looked into it, and I was like, oh, my God. You know, sometimes it's a blessing in disguise. I couldn't drive out to wherever the fuck desert place that Sean lives, but I'm sitting here with Kyle Railton. Did I say it correctly?
Yeah, that's right.
You've got like a cool real name, but you decided to be Coach T Mudhoney.
You know, I think Coach T Mudhoney decided to be me in a certain sense. It was just like this organic thing that just started as a joke, and it slowly gained traction. And then for the last 5 years of my life, I've been on a pretty incredible journey with that. I mean, my whole life has been an incredible journey, but this last 5 years has been my coach era, I suppose. So
one of the great things about being friends with Hunter McIntyre, and I shit on him all the time just for fun, but one of the things I do love about him is his positivity, but also his network of friends. Because I'm kind of the same way that I collect people, and I like really interesting, crazy people, and Hunter does too. So he's always ready to throw me one of them. And
well, I agree with that too, because I didn't know when Hunter hit me up and said that you'd be contacting me. It was like pretty quickly. I'm like, well, friends with Hunter, I'm game. You know, Hunter doesn't surround himself with poor quality humans.
No, and. So I looked on Google and, found you and read some stuff, and I was like, oh, my God, how have I not heard of you? Just if you're sitting there, you might want to put pause on this show and then just start checking out Coach T Mudhoney. What's your Instagram?
Coach T Mud.
Coach T Mud. M-U-D.
M-U-D.
And so... former CrossFitter,
I'm still a CrossFitter, dude. I CrossFitted this morning.
I know you. When you messaged me, you're like, I'm about to do 20.1, which I wouldn't do if you paid me all the money in the world.
I got her done.
How was it?
It was about exactly what you think it would be. It was disgusting. About halfway through, there's a pretty dark place that your mind goes to and always questions what the fuck you're doing.
Was it round 5?
Yeah, right around round 5, yeah. 5, 6, and then once I hit round 7, I knew I could... get through it. And, the Open's a fun time of year for me because, I'm not a competitive CrossFitter anymore. I never made it super big as a competitive CrossFitter. Anywho, but now it's just kind of a spot to, get friends together, test our fitness, and then, everybody across, my envelope of fitness pals are all doing the same workouts, yeah. So we get an opportunity to talk a little shit and throw a little competition down there as well.
I just last week talked about I wish the gym's all still programmed by CrossFit HQ, like CrossFit.com. I'd love to see it that worldwide everybody's doing the same workout every single day.
Pretty fun.
Yeah, I wish, because I also feel like there was a method to as much as I shit on Glassman all the time, there's a method to his madness of his coaching and his programming that why not stick with that? Why did everybody have to think that they were the expert and go off and...
The grass is always greener, and everybody's trying to jump on this, like, their programming is amazing or whatnot. I see it across the board, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Anyway, so 20.1, Hunter said, why don't you do this workout? This is right up your alley. I'm like, right up my alley. Are you out of your mind? 3 rounds is up my alley. Hey, 10 rounds. When I was watching Froning and Panchek do it, I was in my head for some reason, I thought they only had 8 rounds. And
when they went past I was like, oh, it's 10. 10 is awful. That is such a horrible number. That is, what was worse, burpees or the overhead?
The problem with that workout, it's a couplet, and it's 2 very challenging movements, and a lot of times in a workout, you have that spot you could hide or that movement that you could just get through, but you finish burpees and you're doing snatches, and you finish snatches, you're doing freaking burpees. It's just like, it's gross and then gross.
Do the snatches feel light in the beginning?
They felt pretty light the whole time, to be totally honest with you, but you're just getting gassed.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, like, it's taking your breath away, and you're just gassed. But the movement wasn't super hard. I did have to find my hands on my knees at one point in time, but say it lovey.
I mean, I even saw Froning going for the chalk. When I saw him going for the chalk, I was like, his hands aren't sweaty. He needs a break.
Yeah.
Or was it like getting to like tearing?
The thumbs and the thumbs took a little beating for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of hook grip.
Yeah.
But it was good. Good stuff.
It looked brutal. It was one of those ones where it's like, I'm out this year.
Nah.
And I usually joke every year and do it like as a 60-plus woman. And then I sign up. I actually signed up last year. I paid $20 and signed up as a 60-year-old woman. And
you still got beat.
I got crushed.
Yeah.
I got destroyed because it's a whole different pathway when you're going lighter weights. And these women can fly.
Yeah.
And I was like, the first day I was like, I got them. There was only one workout where I did well, and it was just because it was that one where I think there was a clean or something, and it just kept getting heavier if you could continue to do it. And the women could only go up to like 145 or something.
And you crushed those bitches.
Yeah, so it was the only time I could crush. They got what they had coming to them. I think I did say about 50 times that I'm going to crush these bitches.
and you didn't.
I confronted one of them at a gym. She was like, I told her what I was doing. She's like, you couldn't beat us. And I was like, okay, relax. Like, and she was like one of the top 60-year-old women in the world. And she's like, you couldn't beat us. And I was like, well, I did in one workout. You're not so tough. So I don't know. I think if that's any indicator of how the Open's going to go, it's going to be ugly. And it's also like, because they changed the format, and it's this year, it usually doesn't start until Siri just went on for some reason. What's wrong, Siri? It usually doesn't go till March, and now it's like you had 6 months to recover,
right?
And now you're going again, and I think that's.
And honestly, in my spot is I treat the Open like it's another day at the gym. Like I didn't do anything differently today. The fun part for me is that I have somebody judging for me. And there's an amazing thing about that. You call something a competition. Now, you will ramp up the intensity a little bit.
Right.
But I'm not changing anything in my normal day-to-day, training because it is the Open. I'm not trying to go to the CrossFit Games. That is, not what I do CrossFit for. I utilize CrossFit as a supplement for, other sports and for, keeping myself ready and prepared to take on whatever it is that I feel like.
Yeah, it's exactly what it's supposed to be for.
Exactly what it is. Do CrossFit. High intensity, 3 on, 1 off, eat pretty darn clean, go to bed pretty darn early, try and play new sports. There's a huge part of that in the original, definition of CrossFit. Greg Glassman said it, and I love that, and I believe in it. And there was a time where CrossFit was my sport, and I loved and take nothing away from those times in my life when it would be dumping snow in Tahoe, and I'd skip going skiing and go do farmer carries. Awesome. It's totally a great part of my life. But now I've moved on and my values of fitness have changed or what I want, out of it. And now it's like 100% a supplement to other stuff. So I'm doing the CrossFit Open. I've done it every single year. I've got friends. My buddy Simon, He lives in Santa Cruz, so it's really cool that we can battle one another. We've been racing dirt bikes. We've been doing triathlons together. We did a half marathon together. We've been like racing each other forever.
What gym do you work out of up in Tahoe?
CrossFit Avalanche.
Oh, I know CrossFit Avalanche.
Yeah, we've been around for...
Are you one of the owners?
I'm not one of the owners, but I've been a coach there since 2010. I don't want to be in the fitness industry. I don't want to be an owner.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm very passionate about coaching. I love it, love it, love it. But I also love it. I want to continue that love. I don't want it to be my main source of income or whatever. So keeping it as a passion of mine. I'm very happy to not be an owner, but I've been around, that gym now for 9 years and training there, and am incredibly proud.
That's a great gym.
Miles Lewis is the owner. And he actually works on HQ seminar staff. So it's a great spot to be. And
I contacted someone like a year ago from there that I was supposed to meet up with. I forget who it was. But I was going to go up there and interview them something. There was some kind of conflict or something. But
maybe it was Miles.
It could have been.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Is Miles a big... is he a big backcountry skiing guy?
He's a snowboarder.
Is that what but is he a big backcountry guy? Like
Not
goes
really.
On like heli ski trips or something?
Yeah, heli ski. So Miles
Were you
Miles
on that
and myself.
I think I watched that movie.
Yeah,
like
Matt Chan. So CrossFit put out this cool thing. It was called Influx. I'm pretty sure. And a handful of years ago, and it was basically this video series where people were taking their CrossFit or their fitness and applying it to real life scenarios or sport. And so we went up to Points North Heli with Kevin Quinn. If that's on your bucket list, you need to sign up because that's about the most incredible place on the planet.
Where'd you go? What area is that?
Points North. That's in Cordova, Alaska.
Okay.
And
I'm headed to Haines.
It's so gorgeous up there. But yeah, Matt Chan, commentated it, and we went skiing. But it was great. Great experience.
Look, originally I got into it to supplement. I think there's an evolution of every CrossFitter. And I think it's, you get in, you find it, you're like, wow, this is really cool. Then you start getting super fit, and you're like, this is going to be a great way to supplement whatever I'm doing. And whether it be, I was surfing a lot, and this is going to help me surfing. This is going to help me running. Whatever I'm doing, it's going to help me. Then you just start feeling fucking amazing, like I'm on top of the world. And then you start getting competitive, and then you start thinking I can take over the world, and then you start getting hurt.
Well, I mean, I don't even know that. I just like my kind of evolution ended in a scenario where I was just like, I was in a parking lot on this weekend where I turned down going camping with a bunch of friends to go to this CrossFit competition, and it was in a freaking parking lot, and I spent all weekend in a parking lot, and I was just kind of like, what am I doing? Yeah. Like, I don't really care that who's fitter than who, and I'm not taking anything away from the competitive CrossFitters. Hunter's my friend, Chandler Smith's my friend. Like, I know a lot of guys that are at that competitive level. It is amazing. The sacrifices that they make to get to where they are.
And it's exciting. It's
incredible.
Yeah, and they're like track and field athletes.
But there was a moment in my own scenario where I was like, I just don't care. Yeah. Like, I don't care to be here battling with these people. I'd rather be hiking or whatever. Sure. But this, Glassman turning a sport or turning fitness into a sport, genius. That's, I believe in the intensity of CrossFit. I think that's where a lot of the magic is. And, human beings will kill themselves for sport. And we all know it. So I love that competitive aspect of CrossFit. Mm-hmm. I love the fact that I'm battling my buddy Simon for the 9th year or whatever in the Open. I don't know how many years we've been going at it, but I love that. Like, competing is beautiful. It's wonderful. It's what keeps us, striving to be better than one another. What I don't want to do is only compete in CrossFit.
Right.
I'll battle you right now. If it starts raining outside, we can make little boats and go race them down the gutter. There's nothing wrong with competition, but I'm not going to become a professional gutter boat racer and I carve my boat all night long. No, I'm like, let's dabble in it, let's battle, and then let's battle tomorrow running up a mountain.
I get the impression too, you're a bit of an adrenaline junkie. And you motocross, the back snowmobiling, all the stuff that you do. And I think I have that a bit too. I mean, probably my level's a little lower. Like, I like to scare myself, and But as I get older, I get kids, I worry about that kind of shit. But I like when I'm using my fitness and I'm doing something that takes where, like surfing, for example. You have to be fit as fuck to surf. And I mean, to surf hard and surf good waves and big waves. And so I'm surfing, I'm getting fit, not as fit as a CrossFitter, not even close. But I'm also getting that adrenaline rush where I don't think you're going to get a crazy adrenaline rush out of CrossFit. Maybe you are if you're one of those top level CrossFitters, or maybe that competition level of like waiting to get out there. I mean, you look at Froning
and the floor, man. If you're competing in those big arenas or whatever, like I know a lot of people now, like they're doing these more sanctioned events. There's more CrossFit competitions going on nowadays that are like big time. Because that's how they're finding people to get to the games. I know a lot of athletes that they just love that stuff. They love competing on that floor. And I get that.
I take back what I said, because when I was competing in sports as a kid, when you get to like game time or you get to meet time or whatever it is, you do get
the
that
roar of the crowd and the people cheering you on. I mean, just today in my gym at 6 a.m., we've got a couple people in the gym, and I got one judge judging me. Just that extra bit right there. I was scared. I'm like, I get scared before every workout just because I know it hurts. But yeah, I mean, I had adrenaline today in the gym. So I don't think it's not that, but I think what I decided, and I'm 42, and I started taking CrossFit really seriously, and it felt like more of a job. I did the same thing with racing motorcycles at one point in my life. I was chasing points, and I was racing the West Coast National Hare Scramble series, chasing points.
So what is a Hare Scramble series?
So Hare Scramble is off-road races. They basically
it's like Baja kind of stuff?
Off-road, cross-country style. Kind of like Baja's desert, but that's similar type of just like balls to the walls, through the woods, through the mountains, and
on trails.
Okay. Yeah, and I got to a point where I was like looking at points and following it so closely that it became a job. And same thing with CrossFit, it became a job. And I'm like, wait, how am I turning these things that I love into work?
Yeah.
What am I doing? And so it took me some time to figure it out. And I'm like, what I love is that the learning curve of something new. That when you get into something and you start to learn about it, and you start to get a little better and a little better and a little better, that beginning stages, being a beginner or a novice, is kind of the most fun of sports. Because every night you go to bed and you're like, man, how could I know how I could change that. I know I can fix that. I know. Once you get really good at stuff, you're like dialing and you're counting everything you eat, it's a totally different thing to get those little teeny gains. But when you're a novice, the gains are just falling out of the tree. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I think the grass is always great. When I was starting out surfing, I just looked around and I hated being a kook so bad, and I probably still am. But I would look around and just be like, I want to be good. I want to rip down the line. I want to like spray. I don't want to be on this longboard just like going straight. This is killing me. I wanted to advance like to where I am now. Now it's a matter of like, I think I had the wrong fins today.
Right.
I think, I can't believe
just
that.
Little teeny
things. But I am so happy that I'm not in that beginning phase.
But here's the gig, dude. I think, like, I want to experience life. I want to experience the joy, the smile that I see people have, like on a surfboard or on a pair of skis or whatever it is that people are doing. I want to dabble in it. So I think, be a kook. I think people should strive to be a kook. And you go on Instagram and people are making fun of like there's like
kook of the day
and stuff. And I'm like, dude, don't make fun of those guys. Applaud them, because that guy has no idea what he's doing.
Yeah.
He says, screw it, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to experience this. Like me, I've been like skiing. I've lived in Lake Tahoe my whole life. Yeah. I've been skiing since before I remember. I know exactly how to carry my skis. Yeah. I know all the things. I don't look like a kook, right? I get it. Yeah. But I love the guys that come up from San Francisco or come across the country and they rented a pair of boots and they're dragging them behind them and their skis are crisscross behind them, and they have no clue, but they're signed up and they're going for it, and I freaking commend them. We should all be kooks. Be kooks more often. Sign up for stuff that make you nervous. Go do hip hop hustle. Dance around. Don't take yourself so freaking seriously, and experience life. That's kind of where I'm at with like.
That's a great attitude.
And CrossFit supplements that lifestyle for me. I'll sign up for freaking anything.
I'm not one of these guys who are like out of the water. Not in the least bit. I've had a couple times where I've stopped a guy. Like I stopped this German dude one day. I'm like, you're going to kill somebody. You're going to kill somebody.
Safety is important.
You need to get out of here. Like I've thrown one guy out of the. Like I was like, dude. He's like, what? I'm like, go where there aren't people because you're so dangerous. I've seen you almost hit like 3 people with that board, and it'll knock them unconscious. You could kill somebody.
Right.
So that's the only time I've ever gotten mad at a coup. I remember I grew up on a little ski mountain in Pennsylvania that was only like 1,000 vertical feet, and we used to love in Pittsburgh the accent. If you've ever heard Scott Panchek's dad talk, he's got the Pittsburgh accent, and so it was like an hour outside of Pittsburgh, and these guys would come up in their full-blown hunting outfits, like the orange hunting outfit, and go skiing, and they would tuck top to bottom, and their poles were straight up in the air, and they would literally 1,000 vertical feet from the top to the bottom in an orange hunting suit, and we used to have a nickname I think we called them Mutt Bears. Because they would go, I'm going up there to the mountains.
Well, and there's definitely a safety thing too, because people, I live in Tahoe and I ski all the time, and people come flying down and they're going way too fast for their skill level. Or I'm like, you're a dangerous bowling ball coming down the mountain. If you hit my wife, we're gonna have issues. Like there is that. Like I'm not saying just go out there and throw yourself at anything at any time. Like, but I do believe sign up for new stuff and don't get so stressed out about.
Do you remember when they
used
to do that in CrossFit.com? Like every month or so, they'd have guys going out and doing motocross or doing scuba diving or something, and I loved it.
They would travel around and have those competitions too. Like I remember they had a paddleboard competition in Tahoe that was like this weird little like side CrossFit thing of like doing new sports. That's like the original. Definition of CrossFit.
I hope they get back to that.
I think they're absolutely heading back there. Because that's why they've done some of these changes with the games and whatnot. And again, I'm not taking anything away from the games and the amount of sacrifice that it takes to be the top level of any sport or of anything for that matter. Like the sacrifices that you have to do are incredible. I take nothing away from it. But for like 95% of us humans, like... It's not necessary.
Sure. I equate it a lot to like marathons. There are millions of people that have run a marathon, but there's only like a few Kenyans that are going to win the thing that train all day, all night, and can drink and eat.
Some dude just ran 100 miles at a sub 7-minute pace.
I hate him.
It's something, and don't quote me on that, but it's something like that.
Yeah, I would believe it.
That is insane. I can run a mile.
Yeah.
At that pace.
Yeah. So today I was shaving my balls and playing Jenga. Those are 2 things you need a steady hand for. One, you lose the game. The other, you lose your balls. You lose a testicle. Right? It's not easy shaving your balls, is it? No, it's not. They don't really make a razor for that. Well, they didn't until now. I always used to wonder, when is somebody going to make a razor for shaving my balls? Well, finally, there's a company that does. It's called Manscaped.com, and it's awesome. They sent me it in the mail, and my wife laughed at me, and I went straight into the bathroom, and I shaved away, and I was like, that was awesome. That was the most amazing shave I've ever had down there. They have, I don't know what they did, but they like redesigned the electric trimmer. Their lawnmower 2.0 has, what's called a proprietary skin safe technology, so the trimmer won't nick or snag your nuts. Shouldn't say nuts, your scrot. Your scrot. The wrinkly scrot. This thing doesn't clip it. You're not going to have a little razor burn all over your nuts. So, you're no longer going to have to put little pieces of toilet paper all over the little razor burns all over your, the nicks on your nuts, all over your scrot. So, and it's disgusting if you're out there using if you use the same razor on your balls that you do on your face. That's really gross, especially if you got kind of, some magma-y balls down there. If you got some gross stuff on it. God, I love this company because I can do ads like this. I could do ads like this all day long. They've got all kinds of stuff. Check them out. They've got a crop preserver, which is an anti-chafing ball deodorant moisturizer. Don't use that other stuff. Some of that other stuff that people are using is really bad for you. I'm not going to say their name because I don't want to get sued, but just use this. If you're going to deodorize your armpits, you might as well take care of their balls. You want to get 20% off and free shipping with the code WODCAST at manscaped.com. I'm going to tell you how to do it. Oh, wait, I just did. You're going to go to manscaped.com. That's manscaped.com and enter WODCAST. I'm not going to lie to you. The first place I shaved was my face with my razor that I got from Manscaped, and it was awesome. It was the best razor I ever put on my face. Then I transferred it to my balls, and now it stays with my balls. It never goes back to my face. But it really is incredible. They've done a really good job. It's 2019. Shave your balls, okay? And always use the right tools for the job. Your balls are going to thank you. 20% off, okay? Free shipping with code WODCAST at manscaped.com. It's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Oh, and use the code WODCAST. Oh, yeah. Somebody told me on my race I should bring some Tiger Balm with me. That a lot of ultra runners do it. And I'm not an ultra runner. I am a amateur CrossFitter that is doing an ultra. And I'm changing up my workouts all the time, and I'm getting sore all the time. And so, you know what I need for that soreness? Tiger Balm, Tiger Balm, Tiger Balm, Tiger Balm, yeah, Tiger Balm. I rely on this stuff. I live with this stuff, basically. It follows me around. It goes on the road with me. It's always in my bag. I got the Tiger Balm Active Muscle Spray, and that's how I can get to the areas that are a little hard to reach, if you know what I mean. We're talking like lower back, upper back, maybe some grundle region. No, I don't know. It's all over. I'm sore always. And they've got the Active Muscle Spray, which is great. And I don't need anyone else to help me. I don't get the greasiness all over my hands. You ever get it on your hands, then you go to work out, it's on your hands, you can't lift the bar. Not anymore. You just spray this on. And they got all kinds of other products. Well, 2 great products. They've got the Tiger Balm Active Muscle Rub. It's perfect for pre-workouts to warm up your muscles. And they have Tiger Balm Active Muscle Gel, which is great for post-workouts. And you just got to try them all. Check them out. They got them all at CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid. You just go in, yell, "Where's the Tiger Balm?" They'll point, and go buy it all. Get yourself some Tiger Balm Active Muscle Spray. Get the Muscle Rub. Get the Muscle Gel. Okay? Told you. Where to get it? CVS, Rite Aid, Walgreens. No code, no ordering. You just go get it. Everybody goes to the drugstore. Get your Tiger Balm Active from there.
Hunter and I and Tommy Hackenbrook, Dustin Fierro. Do you know Dusty Wunderlich from up here?
Yes, I do.
Dusty's coming with us, and I'm trying to think of there might be another Hunter and another guy, but we're going 68 miles across the Backbone Trail.
You know what? Hunter actually mentioned that to me.
Yeah, if you're welcome to come if you want to go.
Maybe I'm going to come too. I'm going to kook it out.
We're going 6. We're going to all kook it out. I tell Hunter, I'm like, don't try to go ahead. The fun is going to be us all hanging out together for 68 miles. So, we have our kind of pace that we want to go, and our goal is break 24 hours. And a bunch of guys from CrossFit Paradiso did it in 25 hours or so. And Hunter is like, we're going to smoke that time. He's like, we're going to smoke it. He goes, you're going to be surprised. We're going to get done in 16 or 17 hours. And I was like, we say that now, but keeping the group together. Anyway, the record, 11 and a half hours, 14,000 vertical feet. Or 14,000 feet of elevation.
People are incredible.
11 and a half hours.
Incredible.
11 and a half. I think that's somewhere around a 9-minute mile. with those kind of hills, I mean, you're walking up 4 ski mountains. Like, you're going up heavenly 4 times. not heavenly, maybe something a little bit smaller. Like,
no, that's awesome.
Yeah. So people are amazing, and I don't think I'm the games athletes. I just put that in a whole other world. I kind of let Armin, my old partner, he kind of specializes now with his show on the game. I like to talk to games athletes, but I like to talk to them about, like, how'd you get here, or what do you do in your life for fun. I'm not like, what do you do for your snatch workouts? Like, I don't give a shit, because I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in the personality of people, and how are you as like I found you interesting. You're very involved in what Hunter does with the obstacle course racing. Like, I watch videos of you.
So yeah, I'm the way I became from Kyle, who I am, and then somewhere around 2012, I believe, I became Coach T Mud, or Coach Theodore Mudhoney, or however you want to say it. But I'm a trainer at CrossFit Avalanche, and Tough Mudder came to town, and they hit up our gym, and they're like, hey, we're looking for someone to come and warm up athletes. And the owner, Miles, he hit me up. He's like, hey, I think you'd be good at that. So Miles dressed up like an old 70s coach for Halloween a couple of years back. And I was like, hey, Miles, do you still have that outfit? I got this idea. And to be honest, it might have been, we were just chit-chatting. It was a collaboration of the two of us came up with this idea. I had a beard at the time. I shaved it into a ridiculous mustache. I squeezed into this small pair of shorts. I was so scared, and I showed up at this Tough Mudder, and I was like, dude, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, and I just stripped down, took my sweatpants off. It was in September in Lake Tahoe. I was chilly at first. I started moving, and I started calling people over. And growing up in life, we play a lot of sports, and I always called my coaches coach. Mm-hmm. It's what I called him. Out of like respect, I don't know, but I'm like, Kyle, go run a 400. Yes, coach. So halfway through that day, I started being like, my name is Coach, and I just like, that's my name, and it kind of stuck. And then a year later, Tough Mudder called me back and said, hey, do you want to do that in Tahoe again? I'm like, yeah, that was super fun. And then they're like, hey, do you want to go to Colorado next weekend? And I was like, sure. And then they started flying me around, and then they started asking me about training and how do you get ready for Tough Mudder. And they wanted me to go to like this fancy gym and do a training program. And I was like, dude, there's so many of those out there. There's a million training programs. Everyone, like we just talked about a minute ago, about, everyone's programming. Yeah. Like everyone's the best programmer or whatever, follow this, follow that. I'm like, dude, just find something you like to do. Like, don't take yourself so seriously. Get out, try new things. And find out what sticks. Like, hey, do you do yoga? Will that get you ready for a Tough Mudder? Sure. Hip hop hustle? Absolutely. Zumba? Sure. Like, CrossFit? Yep. Body? All these things are going to help you experience a Tough Mudder. Will it make you the fastest obstacle course racer? No. Mm-hmm. That you need to specialize what Hunter does. Mm-hmm. But can you experience it? Yes. So we ended up with a video series called Coachified. And that was basically me on a weekly series going and doing random things. It was I think it was 3 or 4 seasons long, once a week.
Oh, that's great.
I would go and jump out of airplanes. I would just do random stuff, whatever I could think of, and tie it back to how that pertains to a Tough Mudder, which I fully believe that it does. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how it all started for me.
So what were all the things you did? You jumped out of an airplane?
Dude, I did so many things. I jumped out of airplanes. I worked with cheerleaders. I went skiing. The silks class and like the yoga. Yeah. Have you ever done that stuff?
I tried.
My God, dude, that's so gnarly.
It's
like
impossible.
Bar effect, where you hold the little bars and do the little teeny movements. Oh my God,
it's horrible.
I did bar effect with Darren Ralphs. Darren Ralphs is probably the fastest downhiller we've ever had in the U.S.
Oh yeah.
And he lives in Tahoe, and his wife owns the Bar Effect, and so he and I, both pretty strong dudes, got crushed by this group of women. They crushed us, and it was awesome. So all these different things were great, and that's like maybe that's part of where my evolution of where my fitness is I'm like, dude, I love this. I want to try new stuff all the time. I want to experience every little nook and cranny of life that there is. Like, what is putting a smile on that guy's face? Why does he have goosebumps? What's making his hair stand up? Like, I want to check that out. I don't need to just do CrossFit every day or just race my dirt bike and become the best that I could be at that. I'm going to spread it out and just experience everything. And that's what I love CrossFit for, because CrossFit has, you know, it's the supplement, but it's what has helped me be able to do that. I can go experience everything in life that I want to. And I'm not going to win anything of it, but I do it at about above average area. I'm above average. I did a half Ironman this year. I'm a shitty swimmer. And I just pounded my way through the water like a cat. And
where'd you do it? Up here?
I went up to Vancouver.
Oh, is it cold?
It wasn't bad. It was great. Okay. It was in a lake. It was outside.
Lake wasn't that cold?
No, it was Victoria Island off of Vancouver.
I know.
It was just unbelievable. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I experienced it. I had a blast. I completed it. Above average.
You going to do a full one?
I don't think so.
I'm going to do one full one. That's my goal.
I'm not there yet because of the training that it would, because of the specializing. Basically, because with the half Ironman, I was able to do CrossFit, a little bit of swimming, and a little bit of spin biking, because I live in Tahoe and there was so much snow this winter. I didn't even ride a bicycle. Yeah. I did spin bike class, some swimming, and CrossFit, and I could do it. I didn't win it, but I completed it, and I had a smile my whole time.
That's pretty awesome that you didn't have to do a lot of training. Like, I was talking to Hunter about the 68-mile thing, and he's like people like Tommy Hackenbrook, he doesn't need to train for it.
Absolutely not.
He's because of his level of fitness, he's just going to walk or run across this thing and be like, all right, that was easy.
When people say that, like, I have people be like, oh, you're going to do that off the couch. And I'm like, I haven't done anything off the couch in freaking 10 years. You know, since I found CrossFit, there's no such thing as off the couch anymore. I'm like rock and roll ready at any point.
Well, let's talk about this. I used to do sports radio in New York City, and we one time had an argument about who was the best athlete. And it went on for like 3 weeks straight about what sport has the athlete, and then it got into specifics of like how are we defining athlete, just like people define fitness, and it got really, really complicated. You know, it was like, who is the guy out there that is the greatest athlete alive? Is it Kelly Slater, or is it what's his
LeBron
name?
James, whatever. How do you want to do it? Yeah.
Whoever it was, it's like, how many sports are they great at? You know, Will Chamberlain apparently was like a great volleyball player, and also a great swimmer, and also a great, like, the guy could do so it's like, who is the greatest athlete of all time? But then we got into who are like cardio output and what sport, and one of them that came up top, like, when it comes to like cardio, was, you know, everybody talks about soccer, but motocross,
absolutely,
is ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Like, your heart rate is
through the roof.
Yeah, you're redlining the whole time.
And
it's also, anyone that's, I've rode dirt bikes just a little tiny bit. My buddy has a farm and has a motocross track, and I was like, oh my God, like, you've got to control this crazy thing between your legs, that you've got to use every muscle in your body.
And we do off-road racing, which is crazy because we'll get into dust that is absolutely blinding. So now you're doing this thing where you're like basically feeling. And you're like, all you can see is the wheel in front of you. You're in blinding dust, and you're just holding the throttle to the lock, squeezing the bike with your knees, and feeling the ground and reacting. You're riding reactionary. It's crazy. And there was a point, so I was pushing myself real good with that sport for a handful of years. And then,
how good did you get?
I was racing at the A level, so there's double A as pro, so I was like semi-pro level, and was, my last year I ended up second place in the national, in my age group, as an A rider. So,
were you 4-stroke, 2-stroke? What do you?
I race a 2-stroke,
wow.
And you can race anything you want. I race a KTM 300. Still have one in my garage. I've had about 6 of them. I'll buy another one in a heartbeat. I still love riding. I'll still go down to Baja every year. I cherry pick races. I do the Tecate Enduro every year.
You know, it's funny. When I was a little kid, sorry to interrupt. When I was a little kid, I raced BMX, and the guy that owned my bike shop that I rode for was called Dirty Harry's BMX. and the Dirty Harry's son, Barry Jeffries, I believe was his name, was an enduro rider and rode KTMs. And I kind of looked up to him like I'm on this bicycle going over dirt jumps, but this guy's like a real man.
Well, check this out.
Real shit.
Talking about like trying new stuff. Well, this year I've like reversed it all the way back, and I bought myself a dirt jump bicycle. In Truckee, they've got this dirt jump park.
Yeah.
The Truckee Bike Park. And I'm like, I started off like kook level, rolling around, and then I did my first tabletop, and then my double jump with a gap on it. But I'm like so fired up right now.
That's the only way you got to do it. You got to go tabletop to the gap.
100%. But like that, you got to do the transition and slowly work your way up through all these, little steps along the way. But that's been my gig this summer, is like my learning curve is learning how to, and I'm out there, dude, high-fiving these 8-year-olds. I've got 8 or 12 or whatever. I got little kids towing me in to stuff. Like, no, follow me in so you got the speed right. It's so much fun, dude. And like, I'm 42.
Well, you'll know this. I just was talking about the speed right. I just watched the Travis Pastrana do that race where it's just
the straight rhythm.
Oh my God. It's so cool because you'll see him and he's losing so badly.
But he got on a different line.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden...
I just watched that the other day.
He'll just hit this jump and then fly ahead of the guy, and it's like, wow, that's so cool how these guys do that.
It's an incredible sport. It's a ridiculous sport.
We have a pump track, close to my house, and it's funny. I keep saying it. I went over and looked at it, and I'm like, I got to get my mountain bike and come back and do it. Bring my daughter. My daughter's like almost 5, and she's riding a little BMX bike. I'm like, she'll like this, and I keep going. I got to go over there. I want to start doing the pump track, but I'm afraid that's going to happen. Then I'm going to go. I want to get some air.
Don't be afraid.
I'm afraid. I don't
roll with it, dude. It's so awesome. I went and bought like a top of the line dirt jump bike for like $1,500. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal. And now I've got one of those in my garage. My garage is ridiculous. Like, I have more toys than anybody. I can't help it, but I don't care because
How's your wife feel about your garage?
She can park her car in there.
Yeah.
So that is it. It's pretty packed. It's pretty ridiculous. She rolls her eyes at me quite often. But that's they
don't get it.
But
the garage.
She does get it. I think she just knows who I am, and that's just my personality.
But my wife, every once in a while, like I've got one side's all surfboards, then I got snowboards, then I got ski, then I got the bikes, and my wife's just like, and I just keep adding gear, and I've got a CrossFit gym inside there, and my wife just keeps going, like, you're just gonna keep getting more stuff, and I'm like, yeah, like I don't buy shoes like you do and purses, and this is it for me. It's like the gear in the camping equipment, Tahoe.
I mean, I live and you're down near Malibu. There's a lot of sports you can play.
Yeah.
Same thing with Tahoe. Like, you got to be ready, man. Like, if we have a crappy winter,
yeah.
I have toys just in case. I got mountain bikes, I've got dirt bikes or whatever. We got a great winter. I've got skis, I've got snowmobiles. Like, I'm ready. I want to experience life. I want to roll with it. I'm ready to go. Like,
I love your attitude.
Keep your body ready at all times. Like, that's, I eat pretty dang good. I get pretty dang good sleep. I drink quite a bit of water. And keep my body ready to go. I keep my toys ready to go too. Yeah. Like, this is our shot. This is our time. This is our one.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Like,
I find it hard to understand people, and I know they're out there, and I'm sorry. I don't mean to be critical of you if you're listening, but people that 9 to 5 at job, and I know they're like, somebody's got to pay the bills. So I just find that, like, I've seen so many friends sacrifice and go into like shitty jobs to do this, and I'm like, go do a shitty job where you're playing all day.
Yeah, but some people that's just how they roll, and that's how they're driven. Like, some like me, I'll go suffer. I've run the 24-hour Tough Mudder 4 times this year. So I DJ now. I've been DJing since I was like 19. This year I'm going to DJ for 24 hours at the 24-hour Tough Mudder. I'll be in the middle of the course. You're going to come out. I'm going to big lights and smoke.
You're completely sober too, aren't you?
I'm sober, yes. Yeah, highly caffeinated. I take Kratom as well.
Okay.
But other than that, like, yeah, I'm a sober dude. But if I were to say, hey, let's go run 24 hours in a wetsuit through obstacles and get electrocuted, you'd be like, that is freaking ridiculous, right? But the same person that's working this 9-to-5 job, they're like, I'm going to go do that. And I'm like, that is ridiculous. That is crazy. Like, we're all like, what it is that like gets us going.
Yeah, you're right.
Like my wife, she's an engineer. She is driven and she puts a lot of effort into her job. It's just how she is. She digs it. She loves the problems. She loves the problem solves. Like that's, and
I'm not talking about the people like your wife. I'm talking about the people that are in dead end jobs. That I'm like, if you're in a dead end job that you hate, you might as well take a shitty job.
Get creative.
Or a job that you make less, but you're getting to play all the time.
Get creative.
And the people that love their job, I get that. I walked in, I just did a film project with these guys. Probably not supposed to talk about it, but it was a startup company, and they're doing this really cool, like, not virtual reality, but augmented reality thing. And I walked in, and all these guys have 5 computer screens in front of them, and they're just like programming away. And I looked at them like I'd kill myself, but they were so happy. Yeah, like that's their thing. So I am all for that. I just love when people love what they do. I get
well, and if you're in a dead end job too, like, and you're frustrated, like my advice is get creative. Like think about it, try new things, like dabble and get yourself out there and put yourself out there and try, just do new stuff. Throw the spaghetti on the wall and see if it sticks. Like, I'm incredibly blessed or something, or lucky or whatever, but I have the opportunity to do stuff that I really have fun doing, and people pay me for it. But it's also like everything that I've done to get myself there is like I went all in, like full send, 100%. When I decided to be coach, I stripped down to ladies' small shorts, and I was like, my name is Coach, and I went full send. And I didn't know if that was going to work or not. But one thing, if that didn't work and it fell flat on its face, I knew that I gave it 100%, so there's no question.
So what's your official occupation?
I'm a drywaller. So I own a drywall business.
Okay.
Mudslingers Drywall Company, which is funny because I work for Tough Mudder as well. And we do custom homes, and I do Italian plaster and like super artistic finishes. Crazy, ridiculous houses. I'm lucky enough to live in Lake Tahoe where people can afford to do really ridiculous finishes, and I make up finishes that are totally custom that no one's ever done, with like marble and limestone and colors integrated into it, and super fun.
Right.
And I got tricked into that trade because I was a kid. I couldn't go to I couldn't sit down in school. I didn't graduate high school.
I can't tell.
I didn't graduate. I didn't do any homework. I didn't do any of that stuff. And my buddy Chris, who's now my business partner, his parents owned a drywall company. And so that's how I'd go stock sheetrock for $1 a sheet. And so if you hustled, you could make some money. Yeah. If you were a slacker, you're not going to do so well. And I started that when I was like probably 13 or 14. And I learned a trade. Brilliant. For those of you who don't do good in school, learn a trade. There's no competition out there.
No,
nobody's doing it anymore.
And you won't have debt, and you'll probably make just as much, if not more money.
and like my schedule is flexible, and like nobody does drywall. The competitions, and the drywall business, that's a great trade. Pick a trade where everyone's all crack and tweaked out and toothless.
Yeah.
Because all you have to do is answer the phone, and you become like the cream of the crop.
So be a carny.
But yeah, so that's my official job.
Then do you coach at Avalanche?
I coach at CrossFit Avalanche. So and I'll always I love the drywall business is great, and it makes it so I can dabble in these other things that
flexible,
are like passion projects. So like I coach at CrossFit Avalanche, just not enough, so I continue to love what I do. I love coaching fitness. I love saying something that will then transfer over to this person's movement and watching their movement improve, and watching like them light up and do stuff that they never thought they could do. I get such a kick out of it. I absolutely love it. And it's like a problem solving thing. Like, I said that and that didn't work. Okay, try this. And then maybe a physical cue. Maybe if I put my hand here, now touch, you know what I mean? Like, it's a fun challenge. I love doing that. And then the Tough Mudder thing, I thought it was a joke in the beginning. And then like the first year I made like $800 or something, and my wife's like, you're traveling around, you made $800, and I'm like, I think that there's more to this. And I was like,
you want to hear something funny? They came to me years and years ago. Like an agent called me and they're like, hey, you're into like working out. There's this thing called Tough Mudder, and they want you to go like warm up the crowd at the starting line.
You could be me.
And I went, no.
It was like 2012.
Because it was probably like 2012, and I was just, I'm just in the midst of, like, I tour constantly doing comedy, and I remember they gave me an offer, and I countered. I said, I'll do it for this much, and they said, no way, and I went, no way, and I was like, I don't want to, and then I talked to Kenny Kane, who used to be my co-host on the show that owns CrossFit LA, and he was a comedian. He's like, yeah, they came to me too, and I think Kenny might have done a few of them, if I'm not mistaken, but I look at how big it's grown now, and I'm like, yeah, I probably should have associated myself with that. That was that's probably one of those. I look back and go,
I think that's back to like the whole thing. Like, sign up, try new things, do stuff that you're not comfortable with. Give it 100% and see what happens.
Yeah.
What the hell else are we doing?
Yeah.
You know, this is life. This is it. There's no book on how you have to do it. There's no rules. Like, people make up this bullshit like of what you're supposed to do and what you should do, and you should have a 9. No, all that is BS. What you should do is try to find a way to put the biggest smile on your face that you absolutely can, and keep it there as long as possible.
Here's a perfect example of that. One day, where I live, we have a couple things. We have fires, which are going on again right now. The fires are horrendous and scary and terrible. And then we also have flooding. And we have crazy flooding. And it's about like, they say like, you look at like hurricanes. They're the worst thing in the world. But for a surfer, they're fucking amazing.
Right.
And you take something that's, to a lot of people, the most terrible thing. Well, there's really bad flooding where we live, and we have these creek beds that fly down the mountains. Well, I had always heard that these guys would tie off and surf in these rivers, and I was telling everybody, if we ever get a rain like that again, we had for years, didn't have, we had a drought for 10 years, and I got a creek that goes right through my backyard. All of a sudden, one day, I see it start flash flooding. And I'm like, holy shit, it's going. Hunter calls me. He's like, have you seen this? And I'm like, yeah. Hunter goes, I'm going to Walmart. I'm buying every inflatable thing I can buy. I'll meet you at your house. And I go, don't even go to Walmart. I said, we don't have time. We don't know how long this is going to last. Get over here. I got foam boards. I got boogie boards. I got everything. We're getting in the water. And we start putting wetsuits and like combat boots and helmets on. And we're like, we don't know what's going to hit us. We've heard cars have gone down those creeks and people have died in them. And Hunter and I are like tying ropes across. And then this other friend of ours, Hunter, shows up that's coming on. And then our friend Crazy Bobby comes down. And then my neighbor Jimbo across the street, who's lived there all his life, he's like, oh yeah, we used to do this as kids. And the next thing I know, we figured we'd be in for like, just like an hour. It's like 8 hours later. And we are screaming, like flying down this creek. And every neighbor standing on bridges yelling at us, like, get out of there. You guys are going to get killed. And we're yelling, go back to your bubble. Like, go back. Like, we are having. And everybody said, you're going to get so sick. You're going to get violent. None of us got sick. None of us got hurt. And to this day, it was one of the most fun days I've ever had in my life.
It's just an incredible experience that you'll never forget.
Yeah, and yes, one of us could have died, but those are the risks you take in life.
Yes, and you do it like...
You try to control it.
Controlled. Like, I do a lot of things that are risky.
Yeah, I try to calculate.
And calculating as much as possible. Because people, I hear like that he died doing what he loved. And I've been in motorcycle races that people have died in. And I love motorcycle racing. I don't want... You know what I love is living. And I'm like, I don't want to die.
Yeah.
I don't want to die doing... I love living. I do want to die doing what I love, which is living after I've lived a really freaking long life.
Yeah.
And I want to be, old and gray and wrinkled as shit and just dragging myself around and like walking through the woods with my wife and then fall over and die. Like that is my goal as my out
I'm
game.
glad you've picked it.
But I'm just like, I don't want to I want to snowmobile. I want to ski. I want to heli ski in Alaska. I'm going to do all this stuff. And I hear people all the time like, oh, that's in Alaska. When I went heli skiing, there was a moment I didn't get out of the helicopter.
Yeah.
We did 2 really rowdy runs. We landed on top of this thing. It was like, don't fall left, don't fall right. It was this long spine. And could I have skied it? I believe I could have. Mm-hmm. In my gut, I'd just blown so much adrenaline on the last 2 runs that I just didn't feel it. Mm-hmm. And we landed on this like knife edge peak with rime ice all over it. If you step backwards, you drop 1,500 feet to your death. Like, it was like this scenario, and like, my gut said, don't get out of the helicopter. So I didn't. And then I watched them. So my buddies got out, and I flew to the other side, and I watched them ski that line. And I was with Miles. Miles still gives me some shit to it, which is fine. Like, and I deserve it, to a degree. But I'm also like telling every people that I don't know that I did that, because I'm also proud of that moment. Because fuck your ego.
Sure.
Nobody gives a shit if you can ski that. You're not going to prove to anybody how good you are, because there's always somebody better. Do shit because you enjoy it, and if you're not feeling it, don't do it. Because the only goal at the end of the night is to go home and lay down in bed and wake up so you can crush it again tomorrow.
Sure.
There's nothing in my eyes that is worth dying for. Maybe your loved ones.
Yeah, maybe.
Wait, definitely your loved ones. There's my wife.
There's a lot you said there that makes sense. I read a book one time called The Gift of Fear by Gavin de Becker, and I can weirdly do a lot of crazy shit, but I sometimes, my fear comes up and I'm just full of fear. And in his book, he talks about that we have a sixth sense. Like when your hair rises up on the back of your neck, and his is more about safety, about knowing when someone's near you that's dangerous. And I've gotten really good at it. I've got a lot of famous friends who are bothered a lot, and things happen in situations, and fans. And I've had, even me doing stand-up, I've had some weird fans and some, people do some things and have to be aware. And even just the regular person walking down the street, aware of your circumstances and aware of when that's what the book's about. It's like knowing when you're in danger, when that guy that's coming towards you could actually mug you. And you have like your hair goes up on the back of your neck. And
listen to that.
Listen to that. And I think it's the same with, there's a difference between like, I'll be out surfing and guys are like, go, go, go. And I'm like, this wave's huge. And they're like, go. And you go and you're like, I'm glad I win. But there's times when I paddle out and I'm like, I'm not going out. Like, I could die today, and I don't want to die today. And, guys would be like, hey, you're a pussy. And I'm like, no, I'm not.
So have you heard of Jeremy Jones? You know who he is, right? So I
motocross racer. Right?
No, skier. Snowboarder. Probably the most renowned backcountry snowboarder.
Who's the motocross guy?
Jeremy McGrath.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Jeremy Jones snowboards. He's a major backcountry snowboarder. And I watched him talk, and he's like, you see all these ski movies, you see all these dudes throwing these epic things, and what you don't see is the amount of times that you turn around, amount of times that you didn't ski the run because the avalanche danger, amount of times you decided not to.
I wish they showed that more.
And it was so cool that Jeremy talked about that, and then he also was like, listen, when you're out, like, I travel in the backcountry a lot, and I know I only travel in the backcountry with certain people because it's freaking dangerous, and you have to trust who you're with, and they have to have no ego. And the other thing is if their hair stands up, you listen to them too.
Oh, sure.
And same thing, like you communicate, and hey, dude, I'm not feeling this right now. Awesome. We're gonna ski back down our skin track where we know it's safe. You're not feeling it, something's up. Right, and Jeremy talked about that, and I was like, this guy is awesome, because everyone else is showing these, like, look at me huck, and look at me go big, and let me go this, but hey, let's throttle it back a little bit. How many times did I not do that because the conditions weren't right? And I like that, like, listen to your sixth sense, pay attention to your surroundings, trust the people you're with. It's huge. Like I've
asked. I've got a bunch of friends in the surf business that are pro surfers, and I've said I wish you guys would make more videos of you do surf porn. We see you get barreled. We see you kick out. I go, let me see you get held down. Let me see you pop up. Let me see you choking on water, so that everyone watching knows.
But nobody wants that. And they need to make a living.
I want to see that. I find that so interesting. Like, I'll find these videos of. I just saw Kai Lenny just showed a video of basically his foot getting cut in half when he was out paddleboarding at Jaws, and they had to helicopter him out of the water. And I was like, that needs to be known. Right. That, like, these best guys that are doing the craziest shit. I'm good buddies with a guy named Albie Lair, and Albie said to me, he admits it. I usually hear those guys never talk about being scared because I think when they start talking about fear, it pushes it into their life where they don't want it. They push it out, and like he talks about it constantly. He's like, "Oh, that wave was so scary. Oh my God!" And I'm like, "You surf the biggest waves in the world, and you were scared." He's like, "Fuck yeah, I was terrified." And I'm like, "Okay, that's good because that makes me feel good about myself."
I think fear is not everyone has it, and everyone has different levels of it. And look at Alex Honnold for one, right?
Yeah,
He's a different.
My hands were sweating the entire time.
Yeah, dude, I knew the outcome of the movie, and I still was like, he's gonna die. I like clapped when he made it to the top.
Oh, we're talking about Free Solo.
Yeah,
and I explained to people the movie is it's. When you're watching a movie and it's like a horror film or something and you think someone's going to die for like 10 minutes of the film and you're like on the edge of your seat, imagine that for an hour and a half.
But even though you know the outcome, it still messes with you.
An hour and a half, you're just going.
But I think, so fear, though, so he's a different breed, but most people have fear, and fear is what is going to keep you alive. If you walk up to the side of a cliff and your body doesn't tell you to crouch down or to crawl, well, you're probably not long for this world.
Yeah.
There's, that those things are broken in you, and that stuff keeps you alive. So embrace it. I came up with this concept or this saying where I'm like, I'm falling in love with my fears. I have a fear of heights. I helicopter ski. I have a fear of heights. I've jumped out of airplanes. I love the fear of heights. I love that feeling. I respect it so much. I respect the mountains, but that feeling, there's something else what is putting this in my body? Like when I'm on top of a mountaintop and I'm like, I can just feel the energy of the mountain. It's insane. That's fear.
Yeah.
And I'm in love with it.
That's
and
a
I want to
cool
get
thing.
to know, just like a relationship with something, I want to have a healthy relationship with fear. It's not going to paralyze
Well,
me.
I think I just talked about this in the last episode, maybe. One of the things, I went through a period of my life, probably a couple years of anxiety, and it was just, I was touring a lot. I had nothing going on in my life. What the hell's going on here? I had a lot going on work-wise, but nothing else in my life. And so I was just hotel, show, plane, hotel, show, plane, like every single day traveling. And what I realized was I needed to scare myself. And I needed to get out there like surfing, mountain biking, skiing, doing all the things that I like to do. But I needed fear back in my life because the fear is what's getting the adrenaline going. And if you're not letting, and this is just my theory, people could say I'm crazy, but I never took Xanax. Every doctor prescribed it. I refused to take it. And I think I cured anxiety with this by allowing a healthy level of fear into my life so that my adrenals are releasing adrenaline rather than my adrenals sitting around going, we have all this adrenaline and we need to shoot it out, and we're going to shoot it out while you're in the middle of a hotel room somewhere. And so
I think you're onto something. I've also struggled with anxiety and yeah, so there's something you need to be, like they say, diet and exercise are some of the best, medications for anxiety. I did take some Xanax for a while, and around 2005, I was pretty sure I was having a heart attack. I didn't know what was going on. I was also treating myself like shit. I was snorting cocaine and partying.
That'll
and
do.
Yeah, that'll also help, but it help with anxiety or hurt it. But that was before I found, fitness. That was 2005. My life wasn't always, I was always an athlete, but growing up, I lived in a resort area and I loved to party, and it was awesome. I had a lot of fun. And then I found I basically was having anxiety, was having all these like issues, and also looking around at people that lived that lifestyle for, out past their 20s and kept rolling on with it. And I'm like, this isn't a real sexy outcome.
It doesn't end well.
It looks good in your 20s.
Yep.
But you hit to 50 and 60 and you keep raising like this. If you're still alive, you ain't looking great.
No,
I was like, I gotta change some stuff up. But finding fitness and finding good nutrition cured my anxiety. And another thing, CrossFit, like that intensity. Like, I thought I was having a heart attack while I freaking did a CrossFit workout. I'm like, well, if that didn't fucking kill me, then I'm probably good.
Have you ever had that? I don't push myself to that level anymore, but I remember doing those workouts where after it was over, I couldn't catch my breath, and I thought, I think I might be dying.
This is the one.
Yeah.
At least there's people around me.
And I'm like,
maybe if I take my left shoe off.
Yeah.
No, that didn't help.
I would lie on my back and look at the other people and be like, is everyone else going through what I'm going through right now? Like, are they?
I think our sweet little spot to do a podcast is going to get blown out.
It's okay. It actually sounds pretty good with even all the ambient noise, so we're okay. But we're closing up pretty soon, anyways. But I could talk to you for 7 hours. But
yeah, we haven't even gotten into the good shit of being deported from countries and all sorts.
Yeah,
of
let's hear the crib. Where'd you get deported from?
New Zealand.
What for?
Overstaying my visa.
Okay.
Nothing too crazy. But I was living when I was like 18. I was snowboarding up here. I was listening to the Grateful Dead and hanging out and snowboarding. You know,
so you had to Lake Wanaka,
97 or 96 era, and then I met this crew of guys from Detroit. And they're like, hey, you should move back to Detroit with us. First it was like, we're going to go to our place and play records. And I was like, I don't know. They're like, put a record on and listen to it. And I had no idea what they're talking about. I get there, and they're playing techno music, and they were DJs. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is the I didn't even know it was a thing. I grew up in Tahoe. It was just not a thing. And I watched these guys. I'm like, that's the craziest shit ever. Look at how much noise they're making with those. I want in. So I started playing with those guys, and they're like, dude, you're pretty good at this. You should move to Detroit with us. And I didn't graduate high school, and I had nothing going. I was flipping burgers just to get a ski pass and just hanging out. So I moved to Detroit with these boys. I lived in a basement, and I just played records. That's all I wanted to do. And I played and learned how to play records. Me and a friend of mine that I was living there with, we moved to London together. And we called ourselves the Bandaloop Businessmen, and we played record for record as fast as we could. And from London, we ended up in Belgium, and then decided we wanted to see the biggest. We wanted to, for the millennium, we wanted to be playing the first place that saw the sun, which is New Zealand.
Oh, interesting.
And we met a bunch of Kiwis when we lived in London, because they're big travelers. So we moved to New Zealand together, and I had like I can't remember what the visa was, 6-month visa or something like that, and it couldn't work. So I saved up a little bit of money and then get there, and we're playing together.
Where were you living in New Zealand?
In Auckland.
Okay.
And we ended up playing at some small bars and stuff, and someone saw us.
What bar?
Herzog was one of them. And the guy that owned Herzog...
What's the nightclub that's right below the strip club?
Sinners.
Is that what it's called?
Maybe. There was Sinners... Dude, it's been a long time.
Well, that's about when I used to hang out around there.
But anyway, so playing...
this is what, 2005?
No, 2000.
Oh,
this is the millennium.
A little later. Okay.
So this is... For the millennium, we ended up playing like we opened up for Carl Craig at this millennium show, and someone saw us. We became resident DJs at Herzog and like 2 smaller clubs. And I was making a living DJing. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I was barely making a living, but I was.
Yeah.
So my plane ticket was supposed to take me to Australia, Bangkok, and back to London, because I bought a around the world plane ticket. I was like, fuck it, I'm not leaving.
Right.
So I stayed in New Zealand. I lived next to a Scientology drug rehab. They ratted me out. And one morning, like, they came and knocked on my door and basically arrested me. And they're like, you can have one bag. And that's it. And I was like, well, shit, I had all my records. And that was...
They're only letting you take one bag.
One bag.
That's insanity.
I was getting arrested. So I grabbed my biggest box of records. I put 2 pairs of pants on. I threw like an Aldous Huxley book in my back pocket. And I went to jail. The next day I was on an airplane back to L.A. And then I've been home in Tahoe ever since. So that was like 2000. And then I was at home in Tahoe living on my mom's floor. And all I wanted to do was be a DJ. And Tahoe is like the shittiest music scene on the planet. And so I would like kind of dabble and play around Tahoe. And I ended up playing with these kids, and they put me on a crappy time slot in a shitty room. And I was like, dude, I'm an international superstar. You guys are just talking. And so I was pissed. So I was like, I'm just going to clear this bar out, and I'm just going to play the weirdest music I can. And I did. Cleared everybody out of the bar. One person left dancing. And it was my wife. She wasn't my wife at the time, but I was like, that girl is amazing. She knows what cool music is, because I was playing some weird stuff, and And I was like, I think I love her. And then from there, like, you know, I met her and we hung out, and this is in like 2000. And her and I have been on this amazing journey ever since of, you know, she loves CrossFit just as much as I do, if not more. You know, we were partying back then. We've been on this like evolution of life together.
That's
like,
awesome.
We're freaking awesome partners. And the cool thing, real quick, but like now I'm, you know, I'm Coach Theodore Mudhoney with Tough Mudder. And I've always like gone, man, I've got this passion for DJ, and I've always like, how did I pull this all back together? I didn't really say much about my DJing because I'm an MC now. I'm like doing the start lines. Are you ready?
Yeah.
And at the end of last year, Tough Mudder had a rocky season. They're like, we need to change something up, bring it back to our roots. We want to have like the base area like a festival, like a music festival. And I was like, I got an idea. I might be your guy. So this year, 2019, I'm now DJing at the Tough Mudder events.
That's awesome.
So I'm like, I've made myself as a DJ, like, you know, using digital, not vinyl anymore, because I'm traveling around the country. And now I'm like back to like this old passion I had when I was like 19. I'm 40 years old. I'm dropping beats at Tough Mudders. It's so much fun.
Yeah, that's great.
And then
you've combined all your loves.
Yeah, and then like this year, so now they got the world's toughest mudder. I've run it 4 times.
Is that the 1 mile one?
24 hours.
Oh, that's the 24. What's the
Hunter is Tough Mudder X.
Tough Mudder X.
Which Hunter, no one can touch Hunter at. But this is a 24-hour one. I've run it 4 times. I'm like, dude, I want to DJ it for 24 hours.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't want to be in the base area. I was like, I want to be out on course. I want to be an obstacle, so it can be like a more of an experience. I want to be able to do like an art show a little bit.
So is the 24-hour one? It's a loop.
5-mile laps.
Oh wow.
20-something obstacles per lap.
Oh fuck.
For 24 hours.
Fuck.
Rowdy.
Oh,
so cool.
So
it's
intense.
like dude,
give me an example of the obstacles.
You know, so Tough Mudder's big on
secrecy.
No. To a degree, but they're into fun, they're into fear, and they're into like challenge you in different ways, right? They mentally, making it physical and making it fun. Like it's really important. So there's obstacles that are just freak you out, like put you in tight scenarios, which I'm sure you wouldn't love.
Nope.
Crawling through nasty stuff, or crawling under a bob or under a chain link fence with water just enough so you can breathe it, and you got to drag yourself under it. Big, crazy, monkey bar style sets with monkey bars that are spinning around. They've got one called King of Swingers where you jump out to like a T-bar style thing and swing out. Sometimes they've made it so you swing to one and then grab to the next one, almost Tarzan-y. Like pretty elaborate, amazing
I can't
obstacles.
believe more people don't get hurt.
People get freaking hurt. Absolutely. But people get hurt skiing.
Sure.
People get hurt, dude.
Sure.
Dude, life isn't safe.
I know.
It's freaking dangerous. People get hurt sitting on their couch all day long, But they get up to pee too quick and they pull a hammy.
Like, I had John Henson on my other podcast who hosted Wipeout. And we were talking about it, and I've said, dude, I watch this, and I love to watch for the massive wipeouts. And he's like, there are ones you've never seen because of the lawsuits.
Yeah.
And he's like, they're like where we see people like snap in half.
People get jacked up and everything is dangerous. And I think I've run 30-something Tough Mudders. I've done the 24-hour one 4 times. I've done the 8.
So if you come with us on our 68 mile, you're just going to laugh at us.
It's not easy. I didn't say this shit's easy for me. I've just done it.
How many 24 hours?
4 times.
I did a podcast once for 24 hours. That's about the most I've done it for 24 hours.
I mean, human beings are freaking amazing.
They really are.
And your mind is your only limitation.
Sure,
and as soon as you can convince yourself that you can do something, you absolutely can. And you can probably do even more than what you thought.
David Goggins says we're all working at 40% of our capacity.
Yes. And and who knows what those figures are, but that's one reason I love coaching, because I love to show people that didn't know that they can actually do these things. Like, it's so fun to me. Like, be like, watch what you can do. Not watch what I can do, but watch what you can do. Like, that's the true beauty. No one gives a shit what I can do.
So I love that you're going to be DJing while people are doing loops. And
dude, I'm so excited. As a DJ, you kind of want to make people happy, right?
Sure.
I got my eye on everybody. I'm people watching. I'm watching people's heads nod up and down. If they're bouncing their heads around, I'm on the right path. when I'm an obstacle on a 24-hour race, I don't give a shit. So it's like this ultimate freedom of noise that I can make. And you might not be happy at this point at 3 a.m. I don't care. Like, that seems like the world is my oyster. I'm an obstacle. I'll give you some reggae when the sun comes up. Sure, I'm going to hand you flowers after I drag you through the mud for a little while. It's a fun experience.
So have they figured out what obstacle you're going to be at?
We're still working on it. That's where the secret stuff, in case any mudders are out there listening, that's where I'm going to not say what we're up to, but
Right.
I will be out there. And we're still even working on it.
Where are they doing this 24-hour one?
It's in Atlanta.
Okay.
And in Vegas, I'm DJing in Vegas next weekend at the Tough Mudder, and we're going to get some creative minds together and do some drawing.
Where are they doing the Tough Mudder in Vegas?
Lake Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah, I know it.
Henderson.
Yeah.
It's an awesome spot for a Tough Mudder.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Very cool. Just like Tough Mudder on the moon.
Yeah.
It's really weird
I was
out
just
there.
going to say, very desert-like. Yeah, that's
next weekend. Come out. Hang out with me.
that'll be fun. I never thought of a Vegas one. I thought it might be one of those, when every once in a while they do like a city one where it'll be like in a stadium or something.
Yeah. Spartan Race does that a bunch. Tough Mudder
Spartan.
dabbled with it a little bit with an urban mudder once, and it just never really took off. So
Yeah, I get confused with Spartan and Tough Mudder.
understandable.
Yeah. Be nice if they merged and just
No,
made
I
one
don't think it's going to
crazy.
happen.
What would you claim is the difference between the two?
Ultimately, so Spartan is 100% competitive. Tough Mudder is more about participation.
Oh, okay.
So Tough Mudder, like a general Tough Mudder, is about teamwork and camaraderie. No course times, no nothing. Kind of run the Tough Mudder however you want. Experience it however you want to. Go out and have a great time. Fun. It's all about experience. Some mudders will stay at an obstacle and help 100 people at that obstacle. It's really about helping one another. Tough Mudder tries to have obstacles that you can't do by yourself.
Right.
It's where Spartan is. It is a race.
Okay.
It's a series. It's a race series, and that's what it is. And there's pros, and they're making money, and it's.
And what's the one that Hunter's best at?
So Hunter has crushed all of them in one way or another. So Tough Mudder came out with Tough Mudder X, which was pretty much made for television. It was such a great thing, but it doesn't have a TV contract right now, so it's not a thing. But it was a couple years. Hunter was untouchable. It's 1 mile, 10 obstacles, plus
I was going to
workouts.
go do it with him. And
Dude, it's such a cool format. Spartan is currently kind of grabbing that concept with that face-off that they just did with Sean Sweeney and Chandler Smith and those guys. Spartan's trying to grab that and run with it, and which is, if somebody should do it, it's such a cool thing. I don't care if Tough Mudder I want to be a part of it because I love it, but if Spartan grabs it and runs, that it is what it is. But so, and then Hunter was also on a team that won the 24-hour race. Hunter also has been a Spartan pro racer. So, Hunter's an incredible athlete, and I'm not here just trying to jack him off, but that guy, again, like human beings can do absolutely anything. When I first met Hunter, he was training for a 24-hour race. He weighed about $180. Now he weighs about 210 or something like that. So he to go off this after this CrossFit goal of his, he put on 30 pounds of pure muscle because he wanted to. I mean, the dude's a specimen.
Yeah, he is. He's a freak.
And you know what I love about?
I hate complimenting him.
But here's what I love about my position in the last couple of years is I've met a lot of incredible athletes. The best athletes out there, Hunter McIntyre, Ryan Atkins, the dudes that are the top of their sport have you can just hang out with them. They don't really have a lot to prove. Like, I've done CrossFit with Hunter. I've run with Hunter. I've run up mountains with Hunter. He could crush me at all those things, but I feel like he's just happy to show what he's passionate about.
Yeah.
I don't feel like he's trying to prove to me how freaking awesome he is,
Right.
because he knows he's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
It's the athletes that are just under that have something to prove,
Sure.
that have a chip on
Sure.
their shoulders.
Sure.
You're the best in the world. You don't have to tell anybody because you freaking know it.
That's why I told everybody at the CrossFit Games. They're like, "Holy shit! He's talking a good game, and what happens if he doesn't do well?" I go, "He doesn't care.
He doesn't care."
And they were like, "What do you?" But
He does. He does.
He does. But I go, it's not going to hurt. He'll just get up the next day and do it again.
Do work.
Yeah.
And do work.
And I go, that's why he's so good at what he does. He's not afraid to fail.
No.
I said, the guy will just go into it. But because the Spartan obstacle course, Tough Mudder world is not my world, and I know Hunter's won a lot, it's hard to, this guy that I hang out with all the time, realize, like, why is this guy so good at what he does? Like, if you came to, like, anything that I've done in my life, I ran track and field or whatever, I could show you why someone is so good at what they do. But looking at Hunter, I'm like, why is this guy, what is it about him that makes him so good at these things? And all I've seen him do, Broken Skull. And, watching Tommy Hackenbrook, you can see Tommy Hackenbrook and know he's so strong. He's fast as fuck. He was a college level.
Who knows what makes Hunter? He's a freak of nature.
It really is. It's a
beautiful thing.
It's a weird thing that he's so good at.
And I'm blessed to call him my friend. I'm stoked. I have so many amazing humans that I can surround myself with.
I think you'll have a great time on our 68 mile.
Dude, I'm down. I'm. It's definitely something.
November 22nd. We're doing it to raise money for the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation. Those guys are down there right now. I'm posting a video today of them fighting the fires. You want to see some like badass guys, the way they're moving. You want to do a CrossFit event. Watch these guys cutting down trees, clearing brush, shoveling the dirt, trying to create a firewall.
With a freaking fire coming at them.
With a fire coming at them, wearing the outfits that they're wearing. And these guys die young because of the amount of smoke inhalation that they get. And so we're supporting their families.
True heroes.
They are. They absolutely are, and I watched what they did, and that's when I said, you know what, we got to do something for these guys. And I was like, and I looked. It was funny because I was on Pioma Overlook, looking over the Backbone Trail, and the whole Santa Monica mountain chain was burning down. And I was like, fuck, I always wanted to like go the whole Backbone because Hunter only did it in 2 days. I was like, I always wanted to do it just nonstop, and I was like, now it's burnt. Well, it came back, and I'm like, we're doing it, and we're going to do it to raise money for these guys. So go to my website, go to wadcastpodcast.com or eddieif.com. You can donate there. Just donate money. The best part about it is you're donating, giving to the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation. It goes to the families, the guys that die, that are out there fighting these fires for you. And donate. One of the great parts of donating is it's more and more pressure for me to finish this thing. Like, the more you give, it takes more out of my ego.
You can't let them down.
And more into my, I'm a dick if I stop. So I don't want it to be an ego thing. I want it to be, the byproduct is we're doing a really good thing and helping these guys and kind of celebrating what they do in these mountains. So it's going to be fun. And everybody keeps going, are you filming it? You know how boring it would be to watch 68 miles of us just going.
Put it on your Instagram story.
I have a rock in my shoe. So we'll film little aspects of it and we'll post them and stuff like that. But so just get involved. We're going to need people help out at the aid stations, and we're going to. We keep talking 4, 6, 4. I think we're doing 4 stations. So we'll stop every 15 miles or so. And try to keep up a decent pace and just have a really fun. It's all about having fun. The whole trip is about having a good time. And
that's my kind of trip.
Getting us through 68 miles of misery and not being miserable. So you're absolutely invited. If anyone wants to get involved, I'm trying to keep the group that it'll stay together, that it won't break up. So I don't want it too big. But you can contact me at wadcastpodcast@yahoo.com. And I got a lot of messages about it. I challenged everybody to do did you ever do the Vortex workout?
Mm-mm.
It's 1.5 miles. Every minute you do 10 push-ups. Every other minute you do 15 squats.
Oh,
yeah, it's brutal. But all these guys have been messaging me, telling me, I coach cross country. I had the whole team do it. I coach my gym. I've been having my gym do it. And I keep getting messaged about it. One guy just messaged me. He's like, look, I did it in 12 something. And I was like, what the fuck? And he shows me it. And I was like, you only ran a mile, dude. It's 1.5 miles. The mile's easy. When you get into that next half mile, at 800 more meters, and that's when you can get stuck in the vortex. So if anybody wants to do it, make sure you post it or send us videos, and I'll post it on the site. Coach, thank you for doing the show. This was awesome. I could talk to you for hours.
No, it's been very fun. Very fun.
Let me ask you one last question. This is just for my own. Motocross, you get the pump in your arms really bad.
Yeah.
Your elbows must be all fucked up.
My wrists and elbows aren't super stoked with
What
me.
do you do? What
Nothing.
do you do to... Nothing. There's no secret.
No, I don't know it. I've heard all sorts of different things, different remedies, and nothing.
And CrossFit does not help elbows.
No, it hurts. No, they hurt. My, there's stuff. I take fish oil every day.
Yeah, my father-in-law's a former NFL football player, and he stands like this all the time. Like his elbows just don't straighten out.
Yeah. We're whatever. It's all good. I try to mobilize. I try to take care of my body the best I can. Drink plenty of water.
I'm trying everything with the elbows though, just because that's the one thing that CrossFit just crushes are my elbows. It's that the imbalance and the too much flexion, not enough extensor. But I thought a motocross. I thought you guys all had the secret because you get that. What does it have a
arm
name
pump.
for it?
Arm pump. Yeah, it's the worst, dude. All the blood rushes into your forearms, and then your hands go numb, and then once your hands come back, you're good to go. But the first 15 minutes of an off-road race, I can't even feel my handlebars, and I'm freaking holding it to the lock.
You know what? I had Kevin Bull on the show, who is American Ninja Warrior. I think he won or made it to he never. Only one guy's completed the entire thing, but Kevin won. He said that because they get thrown in with no warm-up, and you can get that pump because they're like basically rock climbing, what they do is they take Theraguns before they go, and they shoot the shit out of their forearms.
And I have one of those. I have a Tim Tam, so yeah. I mean, I do all those things. Yeah.
Still doesn't work.
I mean, kind of.
I have tried every single thing to get rid of like any kind of tendonitis. And one day I'm surfing and my elbow just basically snapped. Look at that bone chip in there. It just snapped like right off the bone. And that's my just one hated thing. But so they can find you?
At Coach T Mud.
At Coach T Mud.
On the gram.
I'm sure you're one of the most approachable people in the world. So if you're ever at a Tough Mudder.
Yeah, please come up. I'm DJing, making a lot of noise. I got a giant mustache and real small shorts.
And CrossFit Avalanche, he's up there coaching if you want to
Lake
drop
Tahoe,
in sometime.
come by.
It's one of the nicest, coolest. Isn't that it's one of the original.
We've been around a long time. Miles just went to Whistler for the 10-year, thing that Glassman invited all the affiliates up. Yeah, so we've been around a long time, and I'm very proud to be a part of that gym.
Oh, that's awesome. And where do you ski out of?
Squaw and Alpine.
Yeah, nice. All right, hey, thanks for doing it. I appreciate it. It was a great episode.
It's been awesome,
all
brother.
Right, awesome.
Awesome.